The first fixture of this year's Champions League quarter-finals has a familiar ring to it. Juventus and Real Madrid met in last season's final and the Spaniards emerged victorious. A 4-1 win at the Millenium Stadium in Wales brought Real their 12th title in Europeans Premier competition and means they were the first side ever to retain the title in the Champions League era and the first since AC Milan in the 1989-90 season. In last year's final, Juventus' lineup appeared to be a 3-5-2, but this morphed into more of a 4-4-1-1, with Dani Alves pushing high on the right to press Marcelo, Dybala dropping into space behind Higuain, and Mandzukic, who scored one of the great final goals, playing wide on the left. Real Madrid's 4-3-1-2 was more familiar, with Benzema and Ronaldo up front and Isco dropping deep and seeking to create from the number 10 role ahead of a midfield anchored by Casemiro. The lineup in 2017 in Cardiff was exactly the same as Real Madrid used in the first leg against Paris Saint-Germain this year. Zinedine Zidane's squad has continuity and familiarity. This season, Real have mostly used the same formation as well as lineup. Isco plays across the pitch vertically and horizontally, floating into the wide spaces to create overloads with the overlapping fullbacks who push high to give Real the width they need, having lost the natural width provided by using Bale and Ronaldo as wide men in a 4-3-3 and moving deep to collect the ball and carry it past the midfield, either directly or using 1-2s with the midfield three. Zidane has also used a 4-4-2 formation, with Asensio playing on the left and Lucas Vázquez on the right, again with Ronaldo and Benzema up front and a midfield double pivot of Casemiro and either Modric or Kroos. This formation in fact has some echoes of how Juventus deployed on that final night in Cardiff. Ronaldo took the Higuain role, the focal point of the attack, with Benzema dropping off to link to the midfield pivot as Dybala tried to do, and width coming from Asensio and Vázquez so that the formation shifts in possession from a 4-4-2 to something akin to a 4-2-3-1. Much of this is because Ronaldo's role has changed. The Portuguese winger has become more of a penalty box predator, using his strength, especially in the air, to provide a back post threat from crosses, and his instinctive ability to find space combined with a powerful shot, making him a natural finisher. Juventus will have to watch him carefully. Max Allegri's side have changed somewhat from Cardiff's matchup, with Leonardo Bonucci now at AC Milan and Dani Alves in Paris. Douglas Costa, on loan from Bayern, has played regularly in their Champions League run, and Blaise Matuidi has added drive and energy to the midfield since his transfer. Juventus can now play in a 4-3-1-2, as they did away to Spurs, or a 4-2-3-1. Higuain is still the focus, and Miralem Pjanic the creative force from deep. The difference now is whether the link is Dybala dropping off behind the striker or the surging runs of Khedira and Matuidi from midfield. Juventus still play a style that uses direct, almost counter-attacking football. In the 4-3-1-2 against Spurs, there was an asymmetry in possession, which allowed Alexandro to push on high from left fullback, while Barzagli tucked inside behind Douglas Costa. Matuidi's energy allowed him to cover back while also getting forwards to support Alexandro in the left wide and half spaces, while Higuain and Dybala stayed fairly central. This approach, a 4-3-1-2 in defence that matches Madrid's, shifting to a 3-5-2 in possession with Matuidi linking, could be useful for Juventus against the wide threat posed by Madrid's fullbacks, as it would push men high to tie up Marcelo and Carvajal in the wide spaces. Matuidi's dynamism will be crucial if Madrid play with Isco in the hole, and he would be able to track the Madrid attacking midfielder when he drops deep before handing him over to Khedira when Isco pushes forwards. And having three defenders playing centrally or Barzagli tucking in on Ronaldo's stronger side would mean that Juve have cover against Madrid's biggest threat. At home, Juve will want to stamp their authority on this tie. Madrid will rely on Casemiro to do much of the hard graft in whichever formation they use, and Juventus now have more pace and dynamism in their side than they did last year, which will stretch the Brazilian, especially if Zidane uses a 4-4-2 with the wide players pushing high. The 2016-17 Champions League final was an intriguing tactical battle won by Madrid thanks to Ronaldo's finishing and Zidane's exhortations at half-time to Real that they give Juventus less time on the ball and press higher up the pitch. It worked then, but this year the Italians are an even sterner proposition and are desperate to exact a measure of revenge.